G'day all, how you going? John Willis here. Just wanted to run you through a little something that's made my life easier over a few years, and it's actually been the salvation of a lot of trips away, is carrying a little food box. I do a lot of trips by myself, but I also do a lot of trips with a lot of other people who may fly in, fly out, or meet in different places. And it's always nice to have the essentials, just this little box of goodies in the food department. So you've all know, like I got to this spot last night at about 9 o'clock at night. Everything was closed, nothing available. So I still made myself quite a nice little meal to finish off with before I went to bed. But look at this. Let's run through a few basic ingredients that I carry. Everybody's different, everybody's got personal tastes, but in this little box of tricks, I could just about feed an army for a month if I needed to. There's quite a few essentials for me. Little bits and pieces. A little jar of peanut butter, the Vegemite, a little bit of jam, all those sorts of things. There's a honey down there somewhere as well. Those little bits and pieces, just on a bit of fresh bread, or perhaps even by making up a damper with a bit of flour, water, salt, you can get yourself just a really nice meal, whether it be beside a campfire or anywhere else you want to travel. Something I find that's really important, really good to go with nowadays, is some of these new designer designer mueslis. I find them absolutely excellent, and it's not only sprinkle on a little bit of milk, and of course we carry milk in little small, long life containers. So that's enough to go over a couple of bowls of muesli. But also as a dry food, just for eating as a little snack. Some of these mueslis now are really quite good. There's always a few little biscuits scattered around somewhere. I've already been into that lot. And fruit. Fruit makes a great little top up, whether it be on pancakes. Look at that, pancake mixture. Honey on top of it. Lemon and sugar on top of a pancake. Or a little bit of fruit, or even some canned berries. Always nice, no doubt about that. And that one really soothes the old late night munchies as well. Of course, containers of your favourite coffee. I put in some cocoa. I actually personally like cocoa, but I also find the kids like a cocoa if needed as well. Some sugar, some tea bags, all the basic essentials there. One thing that I'll go, or two things that I'll go nowhere without. Chili flakes and olive oil. With these two you can do just about anything. Doesn't matter where you want to go, what you want to do, you will top up just about every meal by incorporating some extra virgin olive oil and the chili flakes. They're all good things. Can't go anywhere without aluminium foil, whether it be for wrapping a damper, cooking just about anything in a fireplace, roast spuds in the fire. Who loves them? They're just great. There's some really good stuff nowadays if you want to go into places like a lot of the new Middle Eastern and continental delis and things like that. This one's hummus in a can. So mix that with some tortilla chips or some tacos or whatever the case may be. And little items like that can really make a trip worthwhile nowadays. Hummus, you can get Don Mardi's, all sorts of bits and pieces in cans. And speaking of cans, there's always the old favourites. Don't forget some baked beans in there. Everybody loves them at the end of the day. But my staple nowadays for so many things, and you can knock up so many meals, is with little cans of tuna. My favourite is omelettes made with tuna. You can get a bit of onion. Tuna and onion just go together beautifully. But little can of tuna, bit of onion, maybe a bit of cheese if you've got it, into an omelette, an absolute delicacy, no doubt. But to bulk out a big meal, a bigger can of tuna, perhaps set up as a mornay, so it's just with making a white sauce with a little bit of flour, a little bit of olive oil, and some milk, and all of a sudden you've turned just a mornay sauce into a tuna delight. So that can either be a pasta bake with a little bit of pasta, or perhaps down here somewhere we've even got a bag of rice. So just boil up some rice, put a mornay sauce over the top of it. Bob's your uncle. Really cheap meal, really satisfying, really filling. You can feed the masses, just bulk it out with a bit of extra pasta, and you've got a meal to feed the masses. What else we got in here? Look, there's some nice little bits and pieces. I like a few sauces, particularly if I've got a bit of meat, but they can always make a base. Don't forget, Worcestershire sauce. It's a great little base, but if you don't want to travel with that, some hearty beef soup sachets or even Vegemite form the basis of a great little broth to make a nice little casserole or something like that in a cook pot over the open fire. It comes up really well. Just things that make your life a little bit more interesting rather than the mundane. Something that you'll find in handy is some taco sauce or one of the passatas or something like that. It's amazing what you can make with these things, and it really splashes up even a wrap or something like that. When I said Middle Eastern before, one thing that I haven't got here at the moment, because I've used it all, is falafel mix, which is just great. It's just dried chickpea mix, and just add water, leave it for 20 minutes, put it in a pan with a bit of olive oil, and you come up with beautiful little falafels. They're available all over the place, but you can add to your falafels your hummus if you like, some cheese, some lettuce if you've got some freshies, or even just a little bit of like the sauces there. But there's a multitude of uses for sauces and pestos and things like that to spruce the whole thing up. Speaking of chickpeas, these things are great. The vegetarians will tell you that that's a great little meat substitute as well. You can crush it up, make little, add a couple of bits and pieces if you like to, but crush them up and actually use it as a meat substitute in anything from a pasta sauce, even down to some little chickpea rissoles. They taste terrific, no doubt. And again, spice them up just a little bit. They're a little bit bland without some spices. A can of coconut milk. You'd be amazed how good that is, particularly when combined with that and chili flakes. Peanut butter, chili flakes, coconut milk, an absolute match made in heaven, and a great satay sauce. So you can combine that on just about any meat, or if you haven't got meat, don't want to do it on chickpeas, by all means, just put it over some rice and you'll just love it. Who doesn't love a good satay sauce? The old bonnet's getting full of the old disco. I use a couple of different things as well. Particularly, I always travel with some fish coating mix. I do like fillets of fish with just a light coating over it, and I do find that the little coating mixes can even take some pretty mushy mullet fillets and make them into an absolute taste sensation. There's some other bits and pieces in there just to spruce it all up. There's a load of other little bits and pieces there. Don't forget, for our old mate, you've always got to take a can of Powell or some dry food. Keep your little mate, your man's best friend, all fed, just in case it happens to get down a little bit. Some of these little beauties are just great, particularly in the sunshine. If it gets really hot up north, some Hydrolytes just to keep those salts and sugars up. Some Dunny Roll, of course, in there somewhere. But at the end of the day, that little combination will absolutely feed the masses. But a very wise old friend of mine once said to me, "You know what, Bear? There's actually a lamb chop in every stubby." So you know what? I think I better go and have a feast. See ya.